Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage at the request of Patreon subscriber Brad, who gave me a dealer's choice to prepare for the NYSE Open, playing whatever Vintage deck I feel like. And what I feel like doing is playing Lurrus Breach. This deck exists in kind of a strange spot for me personally. It's been just a top deck for 8 months, a year now, and I have basically no reps with it, despite it being exactly the type of deck I love to play. I'm not sure how this became such a blind spot for me, but combo control is my favorite archetype. Doing busted vintage things with massive counts of Moxen in my deck is something I love doing. If I can support Delirium Academy, I'm pretty excited about it. This deck has 3 copies of actual mana drain to fuel 4 copies of Gifts Ungiven. This thing is a thing of beauty, and I'm excited to finally try it. Your end game is to kill your opponent with Brain Freeze. Underworld Breach gives each non-land in your graveyard escape, and the escape is its mana cost plus 3 cards, exiling 3 cards. Underworld Breach plus Black Lotus plus Brain Freeze, you mill yourself for 3 times your storm count, and then you exile the unimportant cards to replay Black Lotus, which replays Brain Freeze. With this, you can flip your whole deck and then flip your opponent's whole deck. And this is a tight little package in what's otherwise a damn near mono blue control deck. 4 Force of Will, 2 Mind Break Trap, Force of Negation, 3 Mana Drain. We are out here with these blue cards. Naturally, Stock Up is in here, the hinge of most vintage combo decks these days. And because the only permanent we really care about is Underworld Breach and Black Lotus, we get to be a Lurrus deck. Life is good. I'm going to do my best to navigate the lines and check for lethal. That's the thing that I'm going to be repeating in my own head as I navigate this deck. Because I do tend to... I know this about myself as a player. If I'm not hyper-focused on the lines that a deck offers, I frequently just think about how do I stop my opponent and how do I draw some more cards, rather than, oh, I just have a breach kill here. I'm going to try to focus, not miss lethal. It's probably still going to happen, but combo control, I'm going to have a good time either way. Let's do it. This is Lurrus Breach. I'm on the play in round 1. My hand does very little. It interacts a lot. I vaguely recognize my opponent's name. I feel like they play weird decks, like creature-centric decks and stuff. I'm going to keep this, though. I think with my opponent's reputation, it might be a mistake. Let's see what they got here. This is going to be a handful of, like, Mayor of Avabrooks. Yeah, basically. Tarmogoyf, Hexing Squelcher, Pyroblast, Renin 6. Another Pyroblast. Alright. I did correctly identify who this was. Let's see if I'm hard punished for it. Alright, pass the turn. The good news is, if I draw the ability to do anything, I get to roast what my opponent is showing. Oh, that was a good draw. Unfortunate. Right, Hexing Squelcher, their stuff can't be countered. That wasn't going to happen anyway. Whether I should cycle this Lorien Revealed is currently on my mind. Not that far from casting it, though Wasteland's going to make it very hard to cast. Yeah, I think just getting bad cards out of my deck is a good idea. I can grab a basic island with it, which I do play 2 of. Right, island, fetch, get the other island. I'll at least put Lurrus in my hand here. That's something. They're going to have Renin 6 plus Wasteland going here. It's going to be hard to keep mana after this turn. Between Chain of Vapor and Mental Misstep, I can win a fight over a Pyroblast if I get myself something worth casting. All right, Tarmogoyf's in there. Yeah, taking the pressure over the Wasteland when I have 2 basics makes perfect sense. Renin 6 doing a lot less than Tarmogoyf right now. Mana Crypt. Well, here I am now with the ability to cast Lorien Revealed, which is no longer in my hand. It's fine. We play on. Yeah, I can hard cast Mindbreak Trap here, which does push through Hexing Squelcher. Do I want Lurrus in play? Is actually kind of an interesting question, because that opens up the Wasteland and taps me out of Mindbreak Trap. What am I doing with Lurrus in play? What am I doing without Lurrus in play? Are my questions, I guess. Alright, I'm just going to pass. A 4 damage coming through. Opponent's also passing. That makes sense. I don't think I want to Chain of Vapor here. Stock up. Okay. That's a real card, but my opponent does have 2 Pyroblasts in their hand. So what I would have to do here is... The problem is they can Pyroblast my Chain of Vapor and keep the Hexing Squelcher from doing what it... from leaving play. Alright, I think they will Pyroblast Chain of Vapor is the problem. And the question is, how much damage can I take over that? So if they attack me for 4, then I pay 2 for ward, and then I lose a crit flip. I'm at 2 going into the next turn. And I do also have to play out this Underground, see if I want to be doing stuff. Alright, I guess I am going to play Lurrus now. Mostly out of desperation. Oh, if my opponent plays any spell this turn, and then I Chain of Vapor, Hexing Squelcher, and they Pyroblast my Chain of Vapor, they're still not in Mindbreak Trap range. They run in 6. Resolves. They only have 1 red now. That is useful to me. There's no instance in graveyards yet. Okay, I'm going to end step Chain of Vapor the Squelcher. And if they want to sack a land to bounce Lurrus, I don't actually care about Lurrus. It already gained me 4 life by just being in play. And if they Pyroblast this, then they're tapped out of Pyroblast. Either way, this is the window. Okay. Ooh. Well, I won't pay 2 life then. Yeah, they could have got 2 extra life off me there. Okay. Time Walk, happy to see that. Stock up, let it rip. We've got Gifts Ungiven. That's got to be one of the best cards in my deck. And Soul Ring. All right. Any order. Soul Ring. Walk. Was that enough? With Lurrus, it should be, because I can cast spells out of my graveyard. All right, I've taken a walk. Finally lost a crit flip. Okay, this is probably something I should know, but the basic gifts pile. I have no combo pieces. What do? I'm going to study my deck list real quick. I don't have like a Savine's Reclamation to make a pile just easy breezy. If I get Breach, Demonic Tutor, Black Lotus, Lotus Petal, what does that do? That lets me DT for the other Breach. Like, they have to give me, like, DT Lotus Petal, right? And then I can DT for the other Breach and we're off. And then the Mnemonic Tutor can get Brain Freeze after that. Do I have enough mana? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. And the Black Lotus will be in my graveyard, so let's do it. Trying to fade Simian Spirit Guide at this point, because I can't beat this Pyroblast. A Breach, Demonic, Lotus, and Lotus Petal. Oh, I don't have red mana. Oh, I have the Lurrus. The Lurrus just ties the room together. They could give me a pile where I don't have red mana, but then I just cast Lotus out of my graveyard. Okay, wow, they gave me the mana. All right, deal. Black Lotus, Lotus Petal. I can Chain of Vapor, Hexing Squelcher mid-combo if I need to. Okay, red. Underworld Breach. And this one is just off Lurrus. I don't have to escape anything there. And now we're off. Demonic for a Brain Freeze. I'm going to get Lotus back into play, just in case here. And then freeze myself. They're probably just looking at my deck at this point. Fun. Sweet. All right, yeah, I just needed to get through that wall of Pyroblasts, and the opponent developing the Ren and 6 got me that. Unable to Scream actually looks great. I love this card. One of these standard legal fringe draft removal spells that also just trickles all the way down to eternal formats. You love that. Unable to Scream, Long Goodbye, Dress Down, Chain of Vapor. These all look pretty good. Hexing Squelcher does stop Pyroblast. Force of Negation doesn't seem super important. Mindbreak Trap doesn't seem super important. We're on the other extreme of the format from these cards. Flusterstorm, or Pyroblast is probably a full 0. And they could have Missteps and Mindbreak Traps, I guess, but I have other counter spells. This deck has to have Collector Roof in it, right? Seems like a slam dunk. But also, my mana seems pretty important. I could cut Mana Vault as my worst artifact. That one does power out Gifts Ungiven, though. I could shave on Flusterstorms, though. We've seen Pyroblast, and it was the card I needed to beat that game. Right, I'm going to cut Mana Vault and bring in just a bunch of removal spells. Okay, this is turn 2 Gifts Ungiven. I'll try it. Tolarian Academy Mana Crypt is just so much mana. Black Lotus. The Power 9 card. Oh, alright. Well, the race is on. Let's do it like this, then. That's sweet. And this can also just draw 4 cards next turn if opponent starts feeling behind. Another Mox would be great. Then I could cast Gifts Ungiven before they're showing Pyroblast. Oh, Force of Will, thanks for showing up. You son of a biscuit. Alright, do I want Lurrus in my hand and Mana Crypt in play? No, I don't think I do. Don't think that's important. Okay, they didn't buff Minsk and Boo. Or they didn't buff Boo with Minsk, which probably means they're going to throw it at me and draw 4 cards. Pretty good. Yep, here he comes. Mox Emerald. Fear of missing out, that rules. And I can't afford to force that. I need to force my combo through, even though good chance this kills me next turn. Okay, discarded a land, so that's still not Delirium. Stock up. Is that better than Gifts Ungiven? No, certainly not. My opponent has 6 damage on the board. I'm dead to a Lightning Bolt. I'm dead to a Lost Crypt Flip. There's very little I could actually try to do here. I guess one thing I could try to do is stock up into a position where Tolarian Academy does more stuff. I don't know, this is pretty bad. Turn 1 Minsk and Boo on the play. Pretty solid. I think that's a fair assessment. Here's a Pyroblast that I have to force. Here's the force that I obviously drew right after Minsk and Boo resolved. Breach Pearl. And I'm dead on board because I am at 6 now from the force. Yeah, Fetch Force just makes me dead. Was there anything? Like, Breach is exciting. If Black Lotus was also in here, is that even something? I don't think it is. All right. Way too much pressure. I'm not going to bring Force of Negation back in just in case they have Black Lotus into Minsk and Boo again. That's deranged. I am going to submit my same deck and get after it. Okay, my hand has Breach in it, but doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't even cast Lurrus. It does have a removal spell. I guess I'll try it. Yeah, this is one of those things where someone with more reps would know what the range is, like what to have faith in the deck in. Because I could mulligan to a hand that has worse mana or doesn't have a removal spell, something like that. But it does have a line to the combo. Or I could keep this hand that has stuff going on, but it does need a stock up or an ancestral or a gifts or something to actually do anything. Taiga, Emerald. Passing the turn. Mox Sapphire. I'm not unhappy to see that, though it doesn't do anything yet. I'll just put Lurrus in my hand. Collector Oof resolves. I don't want to bounce this until I'm actually ready to win that fight. Okay, Force of Will is a big deal. Just going to bounce this Oof now. I can hardcast Force if this is cleared, and I can Mental Misstep a Pyroblast right now if they fight over it. Right, Mental Misstep a Veil of Summer also works. Alright, you want to sack a land? Didn't think so. Alright, I mean, now I'm in kind of a shitty spot, because if they have another Veil or Pyroblast to counter this Force, this Oof is just going to be in play. Gotta fetch Underground Sea. Alright. Had the Blast. I can Underworld Breach Chain of Vapor if I draw something worth doing that with. Right. Rip a stock up off. Longabar below. And I kind of want Demonic Tutor, but land also is nice. I'll take the Demonic. This is a big bet that I'm still going to have this Underground Sea in play, but my opponent did just miss a land drop. Let's hope they don't draw exactly Wasteland right now. Fear of missing out. That's okay. It's not a second Oof. I'll take it. It is another look at Wasteland, though. Discarding Minsk and Boo. Happy to see that go. And they're almost delirious. Okay. That fetch land is a big rip. Is this game? I've got Wanga by the Oof, DT for a Lotus, go. If they have Endurance, Mindbreak Trap, even Force of Vigor, all of those are pretty tough. Is Lotus the best card I can get with Demonic Tutor, I guess, is the follow-up question. What am I trying to play around here? I guess I'll just send it. I could also spend this turn Ancestraling and then Long Goodbye next turn. That untaps them into possible Pyroblast, though. All right, I'm getting Black Lotus. Long Goodbye on the Collector, oof. Mindbreak Trap is not on right now. The next thing I do, it will be on. I think I've decided I'm just not playing around that. And do I want Lurrus in play? I guess. I'll play Lurrus. Cast Lotus with Lurrus. Red, red, red. All right, moment of truth. Who's dead? One of us is. Demonic or Brain Freeze. Rip it. I should have played Lotus before I Brain Freeze. This is actually extra exposure to... if I lose right now, it's because I didn't play Lotus first. All right. They just don't have it, but I definitely should have invested the Lotus. Then I could play Instants out of my graveyard if they do have like Ravenous Trap or something somewhere along my chain. I could have played around that a little better. But if they just have nothing, that's a clean breach. On to the next round.
The NYSE Open is returning on June 6, 2026 to Long Island, New York. This proxy-friendly vintage tournament has the guaranteed prize pool of 8 pieces of Power 9 to be drafted by the top 8 based on final standings. Any additional profits made from the event will be added to the prize pool as on-site vendor credit. This tournament has been great the last 2 years. How often do you get to act sad about winning just a time walk? You know I'll be there. See you at the NYSE Open on June 6 on Long Island, New York. Use my link in the video description or find the New York Stacks Exchange on melee.gg.
I am on the play against a not Lurrus deck in round 2. This hand has Flusterstorm for interaction, no real plan to get to 4 mana. And what am I doing if I get there? I think I'm going to mulligan this. I want to do better. Oh my god. Have I ever mulliganed to Tolarian Academy in my life? I'm going to keep this in bottom one of the gifts. And I think the decision to probe versus use probe as a blue card for force is an interesting one. But if I hit an artifact here and can stock up turn 1, that's just too good. Hey, that's an artifact. My opponent is on Hollowvine. They have Force of Negation, but no blue card. Yeah, this was just the keep 7 because it's got Bazaar set up. All right, I get to go buck wild here. Can I win? Does this gifts just win the game? I guess I should ask before I do anything else. I can obviously cast it. 3, 4, 5, 6 mana available. I don't think gifts wins from here. I'm going to go for a stock up and see how things look. A land and jet are good. Scroll can get ancestral. Pretty sure I want the jet. And do I want interaction with this Flusterstorm to fight the Force Negation I see in their hand? Because this deck actually is hard to combo through if they fix their hand a little bit, which Bazaar Baghdad's really good at doing. I have to figure out if I can win with Gifts Ungiven. That's the question here. I'll have 8 mana next turn. I already have the Lotus. Gifts can get Breach, Demonic. Oh, if I get access to Lurrus, that fixes it all. Okay, I'm going to go Jet, Fluster. You can be mad at me for taking the Flusterstorm over the Merchant Scroll if you want. But I'm out here gaming. I'm pretty worried about Wasteland. But if they play the Bazaar, then that's obviously their land for turn. They squee into Root Wall is discarded. That was just a fix-up. Clean that hand up for them. No Vengevine. Might still be a hollow one coming my way. I don't know. Mana Drain. Hello? That's interesting. Now I have to think about first or second main phasing my spells. Because I'd rather... Because if I drain in the first main, I get that mana in the second, which it might not be useful in. Oh, if I buy Lurrus, cast Lurrus, I think I want to do all this in the second main. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Now I can cast Lurrus with Drain still up. Force of Will pitching Force of Negation. Mana Drain gives me 5 mana next first main phase if I win this fight, if there's not a second round coming. No! How did this happen? Oh, all right, well, I mean, I'm still fighting. Oh, right, the squee. All right, I didn't click out of the squee, but that means that their draw step and their Bazaar activation was all forces and blue cards. All right, I mean, I'm still going to win the fight, but scary, scary. Force pitching Flusterstorm. Okay, bang, bang, Black Lotus. Opponent's hand is Serum Powder, Basking Rootwalla, and I get 5 colorless mana to win the game with in my next main phase. I do get to see a lot of cards, though. Various forces are good. Green forces are better than blue forces here, I think, for them. Discarded Squee, Master of Death. Right, Hollow One, I don't give a shit. Other hand is Basking Rootwalla and 1 unknown. Force of Vigor and Mindbreak Trap are the cards that I could possibly care about here. Alright, we're in there. Target you with Gifts Ungiven. Ka-chow! Man, Mana Drain. That's my guy. Alright. Underworld Breach. And I have the Lurrus. We're good to go. Underworld Breach. Demonic Tutor. There are counterspells in my graveyard if we get that far. I'll take Brain Freeze. And I guess I want Lotus Petal. Do I care about that? I don't think I care very much about that. I'll take Flusterstorm just to pad my stats here. I have everything I need. But they either have to give me Flusterstorm so my combo's protected, or they have to give me my combo and I don't get Flusterstorm. Okay, they gave me the Breach and the Freeze. I've cast 1 spell this turn, which means Force of Vigor is not going to be good enough. Mindbreak Trap's not going to be good enough. Because once this Breach resolves, I have access to Mana Drain and Flusterstorm. Cool. Yeah, I'll just freeze myself. Get the party started. I don't think this deck plays anything like Endurance. Yeah, Mindbreak Trap was the one card I needed to worry about, but I don't need to worry about it because I selected Flusterstorm. All right, there we go. Handled. And I had Mana Drain in my graveyard anyway, but that made it a little cheaper. I probably don't actually like this matchup, and I feel good to get away with round 1. We've got Tabernacle and some traditional Bazaar hate. Hexing Squelcher is interesting, because they do play 8 Force of Wills, but they also have Force of Vigor and Mindbreak Trap, all of which I have to care about. The Ixalan Jailer turns off Vengevines and Squeeze and Masters of Death. Probably should have that in here. Red Blast is kind of the same as Hexing Squelcher, but it also hits Mindbreak Trap. Right, Force of Negation. I'm not doing a lot of interacting on their turn. Mental Misstep can stop their Mental Misstep or Rootwalla. Not that interested in that. That Mana Drain was so good. Getting a 5-drop. Right, I don't think I need Mindbreak Trap here. Unlike the last round where they were definitely a Collector Oof deck, Mana Vault giving me a burst of speed actually seems great here. Chain of Vapor could buy me some time, but I don't think I don't think the way Chain of Vapor buys time is useful in this matchup. Like bouncing a Hollow One or whatever. I would prefer that they just don't have a Hollow One because I've turned off their Bazaars. 2 more cards, if I'm going to bring all this stuff in. Maybe I already have a Pyroblast. I don't know that I need another. Yeah, draining any kind of force is awesome, because every force costs more than Mana Drain does. Yeah, maybe Drain is actually a shave here, because the 1 mana interaction is so much faster, even though it is awesome to Mana Drain a Force of Will. We're figuring it out live here. Well, I have Tabernacle in my hand, which can buy a lot of time in this matchup. This Academy doesn't tap for mana, though. It's a little sketch. Depends on what their setup is. If they go like Bazaar, discard 3 Squeeze, I'm probably dead. But if they go 2 Rootwallas, a Hollow One, and a Vengevine, I love that. Right, 2 Rootwallas and discarded a Force. That means the 4 cards still in their hand are better than Force of Negation against my known combo deck. Scary. I hope they just play like 5 Hollow Ones right now. Dump out your hand. They're all Hollow Ones. Chalice on 0. Okay. That would be annoying if I had a Mox, which I don't. I'd like to know what's going on over there. 3 Force of Wills. Yeah, alright. Well, fuck your Rootwallas at least. And then we'll figure out the rest later. And their hand is very good in the matchup, but if I'm under 0 pressure, I'll figure it out. Bazaar. Discarded Hollow One and 2 Serum Powders. Alright, yeah, nice Hollow One. I wish you had drawn it last turn. Urza Saga is a hell of a draw, but that's not going to be the first land I play. I'll do that second, because the constructs can be a win condition here. They also turn on Tolarian Academy. Alright, Strip Mine. Ooh, alright, I like that. Opponent's ballin'. They said, I don't care about Tabernacle. I don't care about my individual game at all. I am here to turn off yours. Alright, what do you think about this? Is this worth a force? Probably has to be. What the hell are you going to do if you don't have Bazaar and I have Tabernacle? Alright, I think I'm done countering spells this game. Let's just lock you all the way out. Oh, we're getting salt in the chat. Love to hear it. Nut draw every time. I mean, I kept 7. I had the option to mulligan. You also had a nut draw every time. I just had sideboard cards. GG's. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. Classic Vintage Q. I've repaired into the same person I just played against. And they've kept 7. I have some counterplay for the interaction they may have. This hand is pretty slow, though. I think I'm going to keep. This is a bunch of fast mana and Demonic Tutor. And we'll see. 3 Root Wallas deployed. It's a solid amount of pressure. If a hollow one joins them, I'll be actually worried. Okay. Hollow one didn't join them. Okay, I could Demonic now, or I could hold up a piece of interaction. I think I'd rather have access to Flusterstorm to avoid getting my Force Figured. I hate to pump the brakes against a deck that can hit as hard as my opponent's deck, but they also have so much free interaction that having Pyroblast and Flusterstorm up could break the game in the other direction for me. Discarded Master of Death and presented a 4th Root Walla. Discarded a Wasteland as their immaterial piece here. That means 5 cards in their hand are better than Wasteland. Stock up, hell yeah. Okay, if I hit Tolarian Academy on this stock up, I'm going to wish I hadn't played my land. But if they have 2 pieces of counterplay, I'm going to wish I did play my land. All right, I'll play out this Volk and then rip off the stock up. Mox Ruby, Mana Drain, Force of Will. I think I want Ruby and Drain. Ruby's out there. I'm going to pass with my interaction up, including Mana Drain. This is a turn where they're allowed to have Hollow One. 9 cards in hand over there. It's a terrifying number for any combo deck to be looking at. Discarded Squee and another Wasteland. So they are betting strongly against Mana Denial being what they need to do here. Lotus Petal. I'm going to Demonic Tutor. Just have to decide how. If I don't play a land, then I can Demonic with a colorless floating. I can Drain and Pyroblast if we end up in a fight. If I play the land, I also have Flusterstorm. But I'm not going to play Petal because that turns on Mindbreak Trap down the stretch. All right. Demonic Tutor. I'm looking for Gifts Ungiven here. There it is. And I could play that with 1 piece of protection right now, or I could add this Lotus Petal. All right, I'm going to pass. And not using that colorless makes me kind of feel silly that I tapped Soul Ring instead of something else I could have tapped, but every point of colored mana that I had access to there did matter. All right, they're fully locked in. Discarded 3 things that are all going to come back. I need multiple layers of protection versus a 7-card hand. Second Gifts, okay. This is a scary spot because with 2 Bazaars, it would not be that hard to come up with a Vengevine, which kills me. All right, I think I am going to pass, though. Yeah, if they've sandbagged Vengevines this long, which is entirely possible, this race could just fall apart right now. Yeah, Vengevine discarded with 4 things to pick up. I think I'm going to be 1 turn too late here. And I could have sent it a turn earlier. I'm just not actually convinced that would win me the game. All right, they got it. Yeah, maybe if I just don't crack that fetch land 2 turns ago. Yeah, I'm not sure. Should I complain in the chat that they had the nut draw? I'm not going to because I'm a grown-up. Okay, Force of Negation, Mindbreak Trap, Mental Misstep. I just did this. Can I remember what I did, and do I still like that plan? Chain of Vapor? Yeah, I guess this still works. Let's go. All right, I have a Soul Guide Lantern, which is actually kind of mid, but I also have a hyper fast Lurrus that can loop the Soul Guide Lantern. I'll keep. Okay, they've powdered and kept 7. The powder cost them 1 Force of Vigor, 1 Squee, 1 Trap, 1 Vengevine, 1 Wasteland. Well, nice little spread of stuff over there. I'm gonna lead on Soul Guide Lantern. Let's at least not get that Mindbreak trapped. If they Force of Will this, that's actually great for me. If they Force of Negation, it's not great. Mental Misstep, particularly obnoxious. Okay, I'm pretty exposed to Force of Vigor, but that's always going to be true. Yep, Force of Vigor. And yet I'm not in the chat complaining about the nut draw. That's so strange. Bizarre. Discarded a Vengevine, a Chalice, and a Master of Death. So the cards in their hand are better than Chalice of the Void. That might just be a decision because they're on the draw. Or the hand could have forces and stuff in it. Actual interaction. Like they are the control deck in this matchup. A second Bizarre. Cool. Into 3 Root Wallas, which trigger a Vengevine. It's a pretty fast clock. I am going to fetch in the end step to thin out bad draws. Unfortunately, that is where we are. Ooh, stock up is nice. If Force Blue card is their hand right now, would I prefer stock up or Lurrus get countered? Probably Lurrus, honestly. And Lurrus is better if it does resolve. All right, Underground Sea, Lurrus. Lurrus just gains me 1,000,000 life, and it's worth a mox. Okay, so their hand is empty now, but they do have 1 Master of Death to rebuild with. Bizarre activation. Discarded 3 Masters of Death. Cool. Remember when they were Hellbent 1 second ago? All right. Triple Master of Death has been found. I'm also dead on board. Oh, I need to stock up and hit Black Lotus here? Man of Lotus Petal. Is that good enough? Hold on. Hold on. Probably not. My graveyard's just not big enough. Mana Vault could give me a burst of mana. Yeah, the problem is where do I go? I could go Petal, Land, Breach, but there's only 6 cards in my graveyard. Casting Petal and Crypt don't get me into the gifts. I could play Soul Guide Lantern and take a redraw. I am dead on board, so Soul Guide Lantern to clear their Masters of Death and try to buy a turn doesn't do anything. Oh, this is so close. Oh, the stock up's going to be in the graveyard. Hold on. Does that change things? I'm going to pop this out so I can really think about it. Okay, I'll have 7 cards in the graveyard when stock up lands there. If I take Lotus Petal and Gifts Ungiven, I can go Land, Petal, Breach. There will be 8 cards in my graveyard. Exile 3 of them to play Mana Crypt. 5 cards in my graveyard. No, 4, because the Crypt is one of those cards. Oh, can I sequence this in a way where the Petal is an important card? So if I go Petal first, exile 1, 2, 3, that's 1 mana. And then Petal 1, 2, 3, that's 1 mana. I'm 1 card short of getting the Crypt in after that. I might have to take Petal stock up and just cast stock up off of Petal Crypt, try to hit Black Lotus, and maybe we can keep going. Yeah, 1 short of this Gifts Ungiven, which would be a lock. Okay, I have to take Petal stock up. A Valk, Petal, Breach, Petal, Crypt, stock up. Come on, deck. All right, that's not it. Demonic Tutor, Hexing Squelcher. I can't even get something in the graveyard here. All right. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. Round 4, I'm on the play versus my first Lurrus opponent. I'm going to keep my hand. I'm a little worried if they are a Wasteland variant of Lurrus. I'm pretty hyped if they're a combo version. Scalding Tarn. That's a good sign in the direction of combo version. Vexing Bauble. Yucko. And that card's not easy for me to win through, but I do have Chain of Vapor. Go get Underground Sea. And my hope here is that they just send some gigantic spell into the safety of Vexing Bauble. The air quotes safety. All right, they're doing something crazy here. Living some kind of cursed life over there with their basic lands. Love to hit a land drop here, but if I don't, it's fine. All right, yeah, just playing draw go. End step fetch. Sewer Valence Cam. All right. That card's in play now. A little Goblin Welder combo deck going on over there. Now I'm terrified. That card is tough for me. I can't just play draw go into that thing forever. Void Mirror. I am going to drain this just to start stocking up next turn. I suspect I'm going to get Pyroblasted here, but I will try to have a conversation about this one. This one being in play means that Chain of Vapor is not good enough to let me have a combo turn anymore, and it means they can crack their Vexing Bauble for a free card, because Void Mirror is covering the same basis. Okay, I've successfully drained. They tapped a red, then untapped it. I don't know if that was thinking about Pyroblast, or if they just actually don't have it. Lorien Revealed, okay. I'm going to use one of my drain mana to get a permanent source here. And I'm going to stonk up. And if this gets Pyroblasted, it's not a big deal. Because now with the Lorien Revealed, okay, that's fine. I still have to keep this Chain of Vapor. Like, I could have bounced Vexing Bauble, forced their Pyroblast, carried on. But knowing they're a permanent-based combo deck, and knowing that I have a handful of more of this, and they probably want to make some constructs or try to combo me out in the next turn cycle, I think I could do better with Chain of Vapor. Goblin Engineer, okay. This one is a little spooky. It's not as scary as Welder because it doesn't go infinite, because it's gated by how much red mana you have, which currently is not very much. Though I have only thought about this combo in Legacy. I've not seen it in Vintage, so yeah, okay. Things like Time Vault or Black Lotus could flip the script on me. Time Vault's exciting. All right, so I'm dead, right? I'm dead if I don't make something happen here. What could I make happen here? The Saga gets a key next turn, if they even need it. Just welding Sewer Valence Cam, or this only untaps creatures, right? Okay, so Sewer Valence Cam doesn't untap Time Vault, but the key that's about to come out of the Saga certainly does. I could bounce the Time Vault, but that doesn't get me very far. All right, I am unfortunately about to commit to bouncing Vexing Bauble here to try to actually have a good turn rather than try to respond to them. Urza Saga, I just broke it open. Maybe I'll just stock up into Lotus and Breach and we'll be fine. All there is to it. For some reason, they didn't want to sack a land. Right, stock up. Mana Vault, Mox Ruby. Okay, so I could put gifts on the stack here, but I'm out of mana at the end of the gifts. Force of Will doesn't matter. And I am actually just dead here, so there's no bluff to be bluffing. I guess I should take Ruby and Vault and stock up again. Right, Ruby, Vault, stock up with a colorless floating, gifts. I guess gifts is not going to do it. I have a Soul Guide Lantern in my deck. But is there a gifts pile that forces them to give me Soul Guide Lantern? Well, I don't have a mana floating, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, if I go like Lotus, Lotus Petal, Breach, Soul Guide Lantern, what did they do? They just give me Breach and Soul Guide Lantern and I can't do anything. All right, I'll stock up again. Here we go. Still looking for Lotus and Breach off this stock up. I don't ask for much. Black Lotus is actually there. And Merchant Scroll is there. Hold on. Is this anything? And this Gifts Ungiven has been so close the whole time. Black Lotus, gotta take that one. And Scroll versus Brainstorm. Brainstorm is 6. No. 6. If I play Black Lotus, Merchant Scroll, that's 7, 8. Brain Freeze is 9. I can mill my opponent for 36, and maybe they can't win the game. in the time it takes them to time vault. They'd have 10 turns to kill me. Is that enough? But I'd be giving them access to their entire deck with Goblin Engineer. Have I lost my mind? Yeah, I don't have an Abrade or a Lightning Bolt or anything like that. The Chain of Vapor's already spent. I could Ancestral, but I'm running out of time to do that. I think I'm out of colored mana too. Like the Black Lotus, if it goes blue to cast Merchant Scroll, then I don't have red to cast Breach if I draw it. If it goes blue to cast Brainstorm, I don't have red to cast Breach if I draw it. I could Ancestral into the Soul Guide Lantern and buy myself a turn. Oh wait, Soul Guide Lantern's to the sideboard. I'm playing to no outs there. Okay, so I have to focus on my combo. That at least takes some pressure off. Yeah, that was in my opening hand game 2 last round. My bad. That's not there. So good. That means I don't have to think about that. I just have to send my combo. But now I'm trying to Brainstorm into Lotus Petal Breach. Lotus and Brainstorm are the take here. Okay. Black Lotus. Blue, blue, blue. Brainstorm. Oh no. Tragic. All right. We're not going to get their team. Or I can still cycle. I could cycle with Lurrus revealed, Gataxi and probe them, and I still get one more draw. I can see one new card this game. It's possible that they draw the key. That's also an out. Though Force of Will is going to be off because they can replay the thing. All right. Force of Will and Gifts Ungiven gone. Lorien revealed. Cycle that. I'll get Volcanic Island. Do I still have my land drop? Hold on. All right, probe you. If I draw Breach here, do I win? Did I lose track of a land drop? I did lose track of a land drop. Could I have used that sooner? And it's not going to matter now, but yeah, I did still have the ability to draw Breach there. That was cool. Vexing Bauble, Engineer, Melded Moxite, Void Mirror. All right, party's over. I'll pull Lurrus in my hand and hope they forget how Time Vault works. That was fun. I did a lot. Storm is 9. Did I say 9 times 3 was 36 earlier this turn? I feel like that's something I may have said out loud while I was thinking about all these other things. That's not actually how math works, in case anyone was wondering. Okay, I will concede. I wonder if forcing the Vexing Bauble would have bought me a little bit of space to function that turn, or that game. That was cool. Whatever else that was going on there, that was cool. Okay, they are a graveyard combo deck. Hitting Needle, Soul Guide Lantern. They're also a creature combo deck. The Hexing Squelcher, if they have Void Mirrors and Vexing Bauble and all that shit going on, I could see it. Right, I think Pyroblast can go out. Mindbreak Trap, Force of Negation. And Force of Negation might be okay. Mindbreak Trap is a no, though. Flusterstorm seems kind of mid. Dress Down and Herx. I could entertain arguments for Unable to Scream. Yeah, I guess if I'm trying to turn off Welders, Unable to Scream is actually really good. That will get rid of the Force of Negation. All right, I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to overboard. My opponent is no longer a Lurrus deck after board. That probably means Leyline is in. I'm going to keep. I love the basic lands. I love that I have 3 lands to just mana drain and then stock up, and this is slow and steady. Especially if my opponent has given up on Lurrus to be a Leyline of the Void deck. I'm not trying to go fast here. Whatever it was they had, it's not there. I wonder if this deck would play Blood Moon. We've seen a lot of basics out of them, and like that's such a legacy play pattern for a painter style deck to have Blood Moon, and I'm just trying to think of why they're not a Lurrus deck anymore. What's going on over there? Yeah, I'm gonna Brainstorm and then probably cycle with Lorien revealed. If they Pyroblast this and it leaves a runway for me to stock up, deal. Ooh. Where's the Saga Time Walk? I don't think I'm actually gonna shuffle this. Yeah, these cards are all good actually. Saga. And do I want to walk into the Saga? Is that how I want to play this? I could also just play stock up. I could play Soul Guide Lantern and leave up Mana Drain. That exiles my Brainstorm, but hopefully I can live without that. Okay, yeah, I'm going to hold the walk. My opponent broke last game open in the Draw Ghost base with their Urza Saga. Let's see if I can return the favor. Ancient Tomb. Top card of my deck is Breach, which is kind of a tough card to get away from, but also I want to spend my mana for all of the next few turns, so I will, with eyes wide open, shuffle away an Underworld Breach. Okay, Pearl is great. That means I didn't actually have to shuffle that Breach away. Or wait, I wouldn't have drawn this if I... Right, that's how cards work. Now I can activate Saga and still drain. That's what that means. And step Thirst for Knowledge. Yeah, have fun. Go nuts. I'm not countering that shit. Dump to Surveillance Cam. I love seeing Thirst for Knowledge in Vintage, though. A card that was, I believe, once restricted. Is that true? Did that happen? Did I hallucinate that? Okay, something's happening. Arkham's Astrolabe. Hell yes. I'm very jealous. I miss this card in all formats. We're playing the only format you can still play this card in right now. Okay, Void Mirror. And that turns off my forces, so I will drain this. And this is sick, because I can use the drain mana to make my second construct and keep all my lands up, because these things both happen in my main phase. If we end up in a fight here, I think I will force back pitching stock up, because this Time Walk can pretty much win the game on its own from here if I don't die. All right, I've successfully drained my opponent's Void Mirror. And step, make a construct. And we'll see if they have an Abrade or a Lightning Bolt or something that can clear that out. Okay, we made it to my turn. I'm going to make sure I stack my main phase triggers correctly to get what I want. Ooh, something's happening in my draw step. What you got over there? Got a basic swamp? Wow. Surveillance Cam can tap the construct. That's okay. And I don't love it, but I do not think it's worth the Force of Will that I'm holding. Cheeky little drain mana, making a construct. Incredible. I could Pithing Needle something, or I could grab Black Lotus, which gets mana going, Lurrus going. Yeah, I'm into Black Lotus. Okay, Time Walk. I'm starting here. If this resolves, I'll also stock up. If I have to pitch the stock up to Force and just play Lurrus this turn, I'll do that. I could also hardcast Force, but that's not as sexy. All right, Force on this, and there's some blue mana in their deck. I'm just going to have to hope it doesn't represent soft counters or like pitch counters, because I'm hoping that they're just like a mono red deck that has Surveillance Cam. Okay, cool. Great Time Walk. I get to hit for 13 here. Ah, there we go. I was about to say any artifact wins me the game. Now I'm hitting for 15 and their life total's 14. I love when interactions like Urza Saga plus Time Walk come up, and you can envision the entire game from your opening hand that contains those two cards. And it's like the turn where I pop Urza Saga is the turn I will win, and then it happens like that. It's cool. Consigned to Memory can counter Void Mirror. It doesn't really counter anything else they're doing, though. And I guess they do have a lot of artifacts in the deck, up to and including Time Vault. But that no Lurrus reveal is very strange. It's kind of annoying, because on Magic Online, it's possible they just misclicked. But in paper, it would be very clear I'm no longer a Lurrus deck. I'm not going to assume they misclicked, though. I will assume that they actually do have 3 and 4 cost sideboard cards. That could also mean they have Tinker, which is a little spooky. I don't really want to entertain that line of thought too far. All right, I'm just going to hit submit. Being aware that a non-Lurrus deck like theirs could have Tinker in it. I mean, it might have Tinker in it anyway for Time Vault, but it could just like Tinker out a Blightsteel Colossus or some giant fucko. But if I think about that too hard, then I start losing track of what's realistic. I'm a big fan of if you hear hooves, think horses, not zebras. And if I see them no longer a Lurrus deck, the horse tracks are just because they have Leyline of the Void. The zebra tracks are, it's because they've boarded in a 3 or 4 card Tinker package. Anyway, I really like my hand. It has Urza Saga in it again. I'm going to keep. Mental Misstep does also counter Vexing Bauble, Goblin Welder, and Manifold Key. And I'm sure their deck has Ancestral Recall in it. Unless this is unpowered. Have we seen a piece of power yet? I don't actually remember. I'm going to rip off Misstep on this, which I just listed a bunch of cards that are more powerful than that I could misstep. But if they were counting on that, that's a big deal. And I'm just getting aggro AF with this Urza Saga. Ooh. No cards? You're counting on red spells, perhaps? Alright, that's a lot of gifts ungiven here. Sewer Valence Cam End Step. That's going to have to work. That could have slowed down a construct next turn, which means they're either already have the construct covered or they're super desperate. I think are the two outcomes here. I am actually going to brainstorm right now. I have the mana, and I'm not going to cast 2 Gifts Ungiven this game. I don't know if I'm going to cast any. Do I need 2 breaches? I don't think so. All right, I'll put back 1 of each of those, and then upkeep, cycle Lorien Revealed for a Valk. Can I just win with protection right now if I don't make a construct? I promised myself I would be checking for lethal rather than just doing the safe thing. If I float mana, tutor Black Lotus, I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana available, 2 for Squelcher, then Breach is uncounterable. I can refire the Black Lotus and then resolve gifts, and that should win the game, right? Cards in graveyard are the only thing I haven't fully mathed out here. Okay. And I get a draw step before I have to think about that. I'm going to grab Valk, stock up. All right, now I'm going to think about it for real. They have tapped out. Do I want to let myself get cooked by something like... All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play it a little bit safe, make the extra construct, apply pressure that way. I still get Black Lotus here. I can still present the combo I want to present next turn in the way that I want to present it. But if they do have something like Surgical or Ravenous Trap, I don't leave myself down on that. Because I beat counterspells here, but as we've already determined, their deck doesn't seem to have counterspells. I'm just going to get Lotus, play Valk, and I'll pass my turn. So they would have to give Welder haste somehow. Okay, they've unlocked red, which the mental misstep may have bought me 3 turns this game. If this is Welder, it has to have haste somehow for them to draw their deck. Okay, they're just passing to me. Tolarian Academy, don't mind if I do. All right, I'm going to attack for 8. And then I'm going to play Hexing Squelcher, who I don't know if you've heard, cannot be countered. That's part of the words on that card. Academy taps for 4. Can I stock up and then still Gifts and Breach? I think so. Stock up. Force of Will, Demonic Tutor. I do like the Force of Will. Do I need Demonic Tutor? It's kind of hard to be upset about a Demonic Tutor. All right. Force and DT to my hand. And then red, red, red. Breach. Play Lotus. Black, black, black. Demonic. Grab the Brain Freeze, and we're out of here. All right, cool. Took an extra turn, probably more. Like, I had Ascend last turn, but taking the extra turn to make it super safe, I don't regret that. On to the next one.
The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with The Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables.
I'm on the play in the final round, positive records locked, playing for the bread and butter 4-1. My opponent does not have a Lurrus, and my hand does not play any cards. I am going to mulligan this. Ooh, that's a lot of power. Okay, this hand still does very little. Does it do enough? What would I even do here? I would, like, put Brain Freeze on the bottom and then... Or I could make a whole plan around Lurrus, Brain Freeze myself, try to hit Breach along the way. I do have to put one of these on the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna keep, and I think bottom Mana Vault. And then, oh, alright, I'm against the initiative. Well, my hand is pretty good versus Chancellor of the Annex. Though, I am in a lot of trouble to something like Clarion Conqueror. I think I might just Time Walk here, actually. Let me reset this turn with my mana available. See if I draw a banger. Alright, Underworld Breach off the top. Stock up. Well, stock up is a banger. I accept. I think that's better than buying Lurrus for a turn. Valerian Academy, Merchant Scroll. Hello, hello. Is Merchant Scroll better than stock up? I'm not convinced. So Merchant Scroll gets and casts Ancestral. That's 3 mana to draw 3 random cards versus 3 mana to look at 5, take 2. I think look at 5, take 2 is better than draw 3, just in raw card quality terms. And then one of the cards I get off the stock up could also be Ancestral Recall. Yeah, okay. Stock up Valerian Academy. Getting rid of that Force of Will when I know the matchup is a little shitty, but I'm still here to game. Ugh, no follow-up here. Chain of Vapor lets me continue to play the game a little bit. And do I want Mox Pearl or land? Mox Pearl is worth 2 mana next turn if I am allowed to tap lands for mana, or if I don't get wastelanded. All right, I'm going to take the Pearl, and I'll play out the Pearl and pass, and we'll see what happens here. It's white initiative. They do have a number of things that could jack me up. Ancient Tomb, Void Mirror. Okay, that can be played through. All right, how do I get Lurrus into play? Or what's the best way to get Lurrus into play? It's not hard to do, it's just, what's the best way to do it? I think I should chain first. Right, Chain of Vapor, the Void Mirror. Because if I do it later, they could bounce Lurrus. I don't know if they'd want to, but they could. Okay, buy Lurrus. Cast Lurrus. Brain freeze myself for 9 and hope Breach is in there. Here we go. Underworld Breach, ding, 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 ding. Okay. I can cast that next turn. I'm 1 short right now. Sad. Okay. I will pass. Okay, we know they have Void Mirror, which makes breaching a little hard, but Chain of Vapor is in the graveyard too. They do actually need something bigger. Like Archon of Emeria does it. Clarion Conqueror does not do it. All right, that's fine. Yeah, I'll just chain that and win. Okay. Draw for turn. Underworld Breach is my... Might as well play out the Ruby. Yeah, okay. That's happening anyway. Underworld Breach is my Lurrus spell. And then Chain of Vapor, your Clarion Conqueror. They could bounce Breach, sack a land, but then I just replay it and win. Nice. Yeah, Lurrus is so messed up with Breach. Lurrus in the PO deck is a cool late game engine that does things like replay your Thundertrap trainers and stuff. Or it's just a mana sink if you don't have one of your other million payoffs. But Lurrus in this deck, specifically representing Underworld Breach, is actually a combo piece. It's so sick. Okay, I need Dress Down, Chain of Vapor, Long Goodbye, Unable to Scream. Opponent said that was a demonstration of what Vintage is about. Hell yeah, it was. And it's one of the reasons I love this deck. Consign to Memory is usually better on the play when you can clip their mana. Herx can clear out various Null Rods and Void Mirrors and stuff. I think that is good enough. I'm totally confident on these 4. This one, pretty confident. Consign to Memory, probably for the play. Squelcher does also push through Void Mirrors. We'll see if I have room for that. Force of Negation and Mindbreak Trap do both kind of play on the draw if I'm trying to clip their mana. Flusterstorm and Pyroblast are zeros. I'm out. Gataxian Probe, I don't care what's in their hand. Mental Misstep, that gets like Mana Vault and Soul Ring out of their whole deck. That gives me room for Herx. Do I have something else to cut for Squelcher? Yeah, it's the Fawn and the Mindbreak Traps are the cards that are not great, but when I'm on the draw and just trying to buy a turn, could be the heroes I need. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here. No room for Squelcher. Though Mana Drain on the draw might be just hilariously hopeful in a way that is not actually helpful to my life. Okay, I'm going -1 Drain and getting the Squelcher in. Well, here it is. The Mindbreak Trap that I debated boarding out is here in my hand. My hand can also Unable to Scream off of a basic. I think I have to try this, even though that second Gifts Ungiven I wish was basically anything else on Earth. Strip Mine. Black Lotus is 1 spell. Probably means they don't need 3. Oh, there we go. Mindbreak Trap is on. Mindbreak Trap is on. This is not a drill. Get that out of here. And if they follow that up with Archon of Emeria or Clarion Conqueror, I'm ready to go. Hell yeah. Okay. Basic Island. That can't scream. The Basic Island doesn't survive the Strip Mine, but it does come in untapped under Archon. Okay, here we go. Pretty good survival of turn 1, which was insane because they had 6 mana and 2 things worth casting. The second Archon. Shit. Okay, that means they didn't Strip Mine me this turn because they were doing that instead. Chain of Vapor. Does Gifts Ungiven even do anything here? I guess is the important question. I haven't had to make a value gifts pile yet. They've all been game enders. Like, I've just been in spots where I casted it and I win. If they Strip Mine me and I Chain of Vapor the Archon, they might not be able to replay it. They did miss a land drop last turn. Shit. All right, never mind. That's not going to be the play. Okay, Archon's in. And I guess I have to just value gifts in the end step. Oh, okay. We are stripping mid-combat. Gifts Ungiven. All right. Remember, I'm not going to have that island anymore. Is this just like gifts for 4 lands? Is that the world I live in? I don't think that world is crazy because I have Chain of Vapor and other gifts and a Dress Down. They're not going to give me Academy or Saga. So I'm not going to get that. I do play another basic. I also just have a bunch of fetches, but fetches are worse under Archon. They're not going to give me Black Lotus. I could put that in my graveyard where drawing Breach is better. Like, there's 2 ways to do this. I could get 4 things that are basically the same, like just 4 lands or like 2 lands, 2 moxes, and they basically just give me 2 mana no matter what. Or I could try to force them to give me something a little bit better by putting even better cards in the stack. But the cards that I put directly into my graveyard, that means that I can't draw them. I think I'm going to go Basic Island. I could go like Sapphire, Jet, Pearl. And Pearl doesn't matter. If I get Island and 3 moxes here, then I'm guaranteed 2 mana worth of development, and 1 might be 2. They wouldn't give me Soul Ring. So I could Entomb the Soul Ring. But what if I go Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, and Island? So now they're going to give me the Island because they're not going to give me Soul Ring or Mana Crypt. And do I want Sapphire? If I don't put 2 lands in the stack, then they could just give me 2 artifacts and bet on the Archon to take a bunch of time to deploy them. I do need 2 blue sources in the stack. And I already have red in play. All right. I am going to go like this. It's kind of a conservative value breach. I'm just hoping that last card in their hand is not Clarion Conqueror or another way to mess me up. If the other card in their hand is like Void Mirror or something, then they just get to completely cook this gifts. Okay, they did give me the 2 non-blue sources, but the sources of lots of mana. That's interesting. Void Bloom Adventure. Okay, sure. Good follow-up. Can I draw a blue land? So I'm not going to get very many more turns here. Mana Drain, looking awful. I could buy Lurrus this turn if I'm willing to play Mana Crypt, but I think I'd rather get the Soul Ring in. So I'm taking 5, 6, 7 next turn. And I don't have a basic island left in my deck because they didn't give it to me. And the Mox Sapphire is gone. All right, yeah, cutting me off blue. Could I have gotten a stack that was better, that guaranteed blue? Oh, great. All right. Well, if they're running that hot, there's no chance. All right, I get one on the play now. The Mindbreak Traps, I think, are going to come out. Force and Negation out. I'm a lot more interested in Consign to Memory on the play. Even Mana Drain is pretty exciting on the play. All right. This is my decision. I'm just flipping my interaction from the conditional stuff that's better on the draw to the conditional stuff that's better on the play. Okay, my hand a little too slow, a little too reactive. Gonna mulligan this. And this is a turn 1 Squelcher. I would probably bottom gifts here. All right, I'll put gifts on the bottom. That gives me Force as interaction or Chain of Vapor as interaction. And my next mana cast stock up. And this hand needs a little help, but it's a start. And I don't care about Void Mirror or Vexing Bauble, which gives me some amount of rain to ignore things. All right, do they have the Cavern? They do. All right. Yeah, the old shell game of do you counter the Mox or do you counter the payoff, because the payoff might be uncounterable. Cavern on Archon. That can only be one thing. There it is. Yo, look who's here, drawing basic lands, had it all the time. Don't worry about it, it's fine. Breach, I'm eventually going to want that. Time Walk's pretty good. Is it better than a land? Lorien Revealed is a land that also fills my graveyard. It's also a blue card I wouldn't miss if I had to pitch it. I think I'm going to take Breach and Lorien here. No attack, they have a 2-3. Wasteland, pretty solid. I can replace that. They just don't have another Archon of Emeria. No, stop! Ugh, that sucks. It's going to be tough to get through 2 of those. And me with my fat grip of forces. Watch out. Volcanic Island. I think I have to hit land drops because the Archons slow them down so bad. It's not like I can sandbag this to play around Wasteland. Strip Mine. Cool. Yep, I am cooked. The effect of hexing Squelcher on a game is sometimes invisible. I don't know if their hand is 3 Void Mirrors that they're just not bothering to deploy, or if this is really doing nothing. Either thing is plausible. Demonic Tutor. That's going to be really hard to get going. It'll take me 2 turns to cast it no matter what, because I don't have a swamp in my deck. If I draw Underground Sea, it's tapped. If I draw a fetch land, that's tapped, which gets a tapped Underground Sea. If I draw Jet, I can't cast 2 spells in a turn. Oh good, we found another Cavern. Yeah, this is the stern kicking. Honestly, my first and second turn of this game were really good, but my opponent's first and second turn of the game were a lot better. All right, I'm getting attacked for 7. I'll be at 2. I can Demonic Tutor next turn, tapping all my mana to do it, which means I won't have time to dress down. All right, I guess I will cycle a Lorien or an Underground Sea, play it tapped, and pass. I don't think there are any outs here. I guess I could top deck the dress down straight up. Void Mirror. Ha, we did it. I'm not countering that shit. Hexing Squelcher. Doing the job. Okay. Well, proof of concept as I die to all the other cards they've played this game. Urza's Saga. That would enter tapped. Yeah. Alright. Got my ass. A few too many Cavern of Souls. Dying with 2 Force Will in my hand. GG's. A positive record with Breach. I was playing it rough, like down and dirty. 0 reps. Not super confident in my sideboarding. Not confident in my gifts and given piles. But also, positive record, and the games were good. I got to do a lot of cool things, make a lot of cool decisions. Even the games I lost, there were potential places to wiggle out. Maybe not that last one, but there were lines that could snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. The way this deck uses Lurrus is so cool, just as an actual combo piece rather than as a second wave of other things or a late game restock. Like, this is genuinely part of the engine here. I love that. I think I just went this entire league without casting Ancestral Recall. I just noticed that as I saw this card sitting here on my deck. I was like, huh, I had Ancestral? Who knew? And obviously there are flex slots in this deck, like 2 Mindbreak Trap, 3 Mana Drain. Why not 2? Why not 4? 4 Gifts Ungiven. Do we need that many? I imagine the number of drains you play probably informs the number of gifts you play. Mindbreak Trap, that could be anything else. Mindbreak Trap specifically is good against faster combo. Is that where we need to buy space? If you don't expect that in your metagame, this could be something else. 2-1 Flusterstorm Pyroblast. Why isn't it 1 and 2 the other way? Or, like, I don't know. I'm just asking the questions, and I'm sure if I went into the Goldfish deck dumps, the history of this deck, we would see a lot of configurations trying a lot of cool things. And I like that about a deck. I'm not criticizing this particular 75 I have. What I'm doing is talking about the archetype as a whole, and if I wanted to put work into this ahead of NYSE, the type of things I'd need to think about and how I'd want to use my flex slots. This deck is super dope. I would compare it to the PO deck where you could do all types of different game plans. This deck pretty much has only the one game plan, and that's go off with Breach. You have Urza Saga, which what can show up in any deck that plays it and be its own game plan, but it's not a huge thing going on here. And the Lurrus, it's not recouping Psychic Frogs or other threats. It's just giving more Breach, which means if Breach is shut down, then Lurrus does very little in the deck as well. But that said, it is very good at doing the thing. On the combo control spectrum, this is definitely a combo deck that has a lot of control cards, where I would say the Jeskai PO deck is a control deck that has a lot of combo cards. And understanding what your deck is good at or better at or worse at is really important in finding the percentage wins. Like if you're a PO player, locked in, know how to do that, picking this up might actually trip you up a little bit as you realize what's more important. Awesome deck, though. It has now entered my consideration rotation for NYSE alongside all the other Lurrus decks I've tried, basically. Vintage is in a great spot. All the decks feel great to play. Brad, thanks for the chance to play this. I'm leaving it here. Everyone, like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, come to the NYSE Open. I'll see you next time.